Good morning, crafters. It's Andrea from Prairie Sky Paper Crafts. Today is day 1 of my 12 days of Christmas, and we will be creating these really cute, really easy ornament holders. So all you're going to need for this one is the Heartwarming Hugs Designer Series paper, or any paper that you would like. Mossy Meadow is what I'm using because it's one of the coordinating colors for this paper. I'm also using Poinsettia Petals stamp set for the sentiment. I've got the Delightful Tag Punch, which is great because it has 3 different sizes that you can use. We're going to be using the largest size for this one. And if you're choosing to use this designer series paper, you can also bring in either Real Red, Whisper White, or Pear Pizzazz. So let's go ahead and get started with this. I've tucked in a peppermint patty in mine just because I had a whole bunch left over from craft sales that actually didn't happen this year. And I was inspired to create this project because I was remembering with my kids those ornaments with the chocolate ornaments that you could hang on your tree, and apparently they don't exist anymore. So this is kind of my way of creating that memory with my kids. Okay. Excuse me. So I've got a piece of Mossy Meadow cardstock. Sorry about that. It is cut at 3 inches by 5.5, and you're also going to need a strip of designer series paper. So I'm going to cut my paper first, and I'm going to cut it at 1.5 inches. Move my scoring blade out of the way. Okay, so I'm just going to set this off to the side, and now I'm going to score my Mossy Meadow cardstock. I'm going to move my trimming blade to the bottom of my trimmer just because bad things can happen. Okay, so on this side of the paper, you're just going to, the 3-inch side, you're going to score it at 1/2 inch. I like to do 2 strokes, 1 up, 1 down. And you're going to bring it over and score it at 2.5 inches as well. And then on the long side, the 5.5 inch side, sorry, you're going to score it at 2.5 and 3. So that's it. Just 4 really quick score lines. You can also do it with a ruler and a bone folder. Okay, now I'm just going to bring in my bone folder and, whoops, burnish my score lines. You want to make sure that you're getting a really good, really crisp fold on all 4 sides. Okay. So that part is done. Now before we cut anything, we're going to bring in our 2 sides and we're going to grab our punch. I find it easier to feed my paper in with the folded sides down. So you're just going to insert it into your punch. Oops, come on. There you go. And wiggle and jiggle until it's just, you can see the paper just at the top of the punch line. And when I punch, I like to give it a bit of a push, not all the way, just to make sure it's not going to move, and then punch. And then you're going to flip it over and do exactly the same thing on the other side. This is a great thing for a beginner stamper as well, because it really does give quite a bit of wow factor, and it is really quite easy. All you really need is a punch, a stamp set, and some paper. Okay, and give it a punch. Okay, so that part's done. Okay, so now I'm going to use my scissors just to trim off these odd little bits. You can leave them on if you like. I just prefer having them flush. You can also use your paper trimmer for this if you're not confident that you're going to get a straight cut. Okay, and turn and just give that a bit of a trim. Okay, the other thing that you're going to trim are the 4 score lines that are going to create the base of your box. there's that. Okay, so that part's done. Now you're just going to bring in your adhesive. I'm using Stampin' Seal, and run adhesive on the 2 short tabs for the base and on one of the sides. It's not going to get a whole lot of use, and it's not something that's going to be open and closed a whole lot. So just a little bit of adhesive will do you. If you prefer to use liquid adhesive, that is perfectly fine. Okay, so now I flipped it over, and I'm going to bring in my short tab and one of my sides, and I'm just going to fold up the side of the box, making sure that it's lined up as close as it can get. Okay, and then there's that. Okay, and then simply we're just going to fold and bring up this side as well. Okay, so that's our box shape finished. Now we're going to bring in our designer series paper. And I think for this one, I'm going to use the dots. I love this paper. It's really Christmassy and coordinates so beautifully. That's one of the things that I absolutely love about Stampin' Up! Is that all of the colors coordinate. So if you've got the designer series paper, it says right on the catalog and right in the packaging what colors coordinate, and then you can go ahead and get the ink pad, the marker, and the re-inker, and you're good to go. Okay, so for this one, I'm going to line it up. I like to start about halfway, and then as I'm going around, I'm going to stick my finger in to give it a bit of support, and then I'm just going to fold and push. And I'm going to do that the entire way around. Now, before I get to the end, I'm just going to make sure that it's going to be straight, and that both sides are going to line up so it's straight all the way across. Okay, and then give it a push, and okay, there we go. Okay, so really quick, really easy, and just kind of rub it around, make sure that the paper's stuck down. Now, for this sentiment, I had a bunch of the red velvet paper left over from doing poinsettias, and I hate to waste it because it's lovely and it's textural and it's really, really pretty. So I used the layering ovals. I used the scalloped oval. I believe it's the smallest size. And then I cut out the piece that just lays over top of it, just to give it a little bit of color and interest. So because Real Red is one of the colors that coordinates with this, I'm going to bring it in and stamp my sentiment. And the sentiment that I'm using is Happy Holidays, which is out of the Poinsettia Petals stamp set. Okay, so I'm just going to stamp it. And I did make sure that this sentiment was going to fit before I cut out my die shape. Okay, and that's it. One stamp, one color. Move that off to the side. And then I'm just going to flip over the sentiment. Okay, now I am going to have detailed instructions over on my blog, and I will post that link below the video as well, if you would like to follow written instructions versus a video. Okay, and I will be doing this live every day. My aim is to do it at 10 or as close to 10 as I can every morning. Okay, so pop the dimensionals, and then I'm just going to put my happy holiday sentiment. This would also be good for a table decoration. I don't know about where you are, but we're under some pretty tight restrictions right now. So my plan is to create some of these to send to family and friends so that they can decorate their holiday table with it. You can also use it as a gift tag holder. There's all kinds of things that you can use these for. Okay, so then run my ribbon through and just pop it up and stick your candy inside. There's really no right or wrong for the ribbon size. I'm using the sheer Real Red ribbon from the holiday catalog for this one. It's so pretty. It just gives that little bit of extra sparkle, and I can see this hanging on the tree with the light catching it. Okay, and then I'm just going to go ahead and tie a knot. If you'd rather do a bow or something a little bit fancier, by all means. It's your project. You need to be happy with it and let your creativity flow. Okay, so I'm just going to tug the knot, and there you go. Our little treat boxes ready for the Christmas tree or to put on a gift, or whatever you would like to do this holiday season. I hope you enjoyed day 1, and I will see you tomorrow for day 2. Thanks for watching.